Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving deep into all things Nigeria.
Ooh, Nigeria.
Yeah, we've got three major newspapers we're looking at: The Nation, Daily Trust, and The Guardian.
A lot of material.
It is. And we're going to be talking about politics, business, security, all the things that are really shaping the country right now.
The things that matter.
Exactly. So let's jump right in. And you know what? Let's start with the political scene because things are...
Always a good place to start.
They're never dull, are they? The Nation is reporting that Rep. Suleiman Abubakar Gumi, who represents Zamfara State,
Right.
has left the PDP and joined the ruling APC.
Interesting. So that's a pretty big defection.
Yeah, and Zamfara State's political scene.
I mean, it's a hotbed.
It is, so this could really shake things up.
It makes you wonder what's behind it. Is it a personal decision or are there some bigger political machinations at play?
Right, is this a sign of things to come? And speaking of things heating up, the Ondo State governorship race is already causing a stir.
Oh.
Yeah. The Guardian's reporting on some serious accusations from the PDP candidate Agboola Ajayi. He's alleging that the APC is planning to use Amotekun.
Amotekun.
Yeah, the regional security outfit, to their advantage.
That's a big deal, if true. I mean, using a security force for political gain that undermines the whole idea of a fair election.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties in with what former INEC chairman Adahiru Jega has been saying. The Guardian quoted him saying that too many elected officials are prioritizing their own interests over the people they're supposed to be serving.
Yeah, you see that sentiment reflected in a lot of the coverage, actually.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
The Guardian's also reporting on concerns about potential manipulation in local government elections. It just paints this picture of a system that's struggling with accountability and transparency.
And where the people's voices might not be heard.
Exactly. And then you add to that this whole debate about potential tax reforms. The Nation is reporting that Senator Muhammad Ali Ndoum is warning against tax hikes, saying they'll push more Nigerians into poverty.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a concern.
Right. I mean, the government needs revenue, but how do you balance that with the needs of an already struggling population?
It's a tough situation, and then you bring in the whole controversy over the suspension of federal allocations to River State.
Oh, yeah. The Guardian's all over that story.
It really highlights just how interconnected everything is: politics, economics, people's daily lives.
Yeah, you pull on one thread and the whole thing unravels.
Mm.
Okay, so we've covered the political drama. Let's shift gears now and talk business, shall we?
Let's do it.
Because things are not looking too rosy there either.
Definitely not a walk in the park. The Guardian has this report on two major FMCG firms.
Those are the big consumer goods companies, right?
Exactly, and they're facing massive losses due to foreign exchange rates. We're talking over $300 billion in losses in the past 9 months.
Wow, that's a staggering number.
It is, and it really underscores the challenges businesses are facing right now in Nigeria.
So what's at the root of it all? Is it just the fluctuating exchange rates, or are there deeper structural issues at play?
Oh, it's a whole mix of factors. You've got the exchange rates, of course, especially for businesses that rely on imported goods. But then you've also got inflation, infrastructure problems, policy uncertainties.
It's like a recipe for disaster.
It can be, for sure. But, there are some bright spots, too.
They tell me about them.
Well, the Nation is highlighting this really cool initiative from Wema Bank. They've launched an export trade academy to help small and medium-sized businesses develop the skills they need to compete globally.
That's fantastic. Those SMEs are the backbone of the economy.
They are, and this kind of program could be a game changer. Imagine more Nigerian businesses breaking into international markets, boosting export revenue, creating jobs.
It's a ripple effect.
It is, and it shows a real commitment to diversifying the economy, too.
And speaking of opportunities, The Guardian is reporting on the NSDC, the National Sugar Development Council.
Right.
They're urging investors to tap into Africa's booming sugar market. It's a $7 billion market.
$7 billion?
Yeah, with a B.
Yeah.
So is Nigeria poised to grab a piece of that pie?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? The potential is certainly there. Africa's sugar demand is growing rapidly, and Nigeria has the land and climate to be a major player. But there are challenges. You need the infrastructure to support that kind of growth. You need a skilled workforce and, of course, a stable policy environment that encourages investment.
So lots of moving pieces, but definitely a sector worth watching.
Agreed. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about security.
Yeah, that's an issue that unfortunately never seems to fade from the headlines.
It's a constant concern and one that requires a nuanced approach.
Absolutely. The Nation is reporting on this disturbing allegation that terrorists have taken control of a Nigerian army training area in Niger State.
I saw that.
Now, the defense headquarters has denied it,
Right.
but the fact that these rumors are circulating speaks volumes about the level of anxiety.
It does. It makes you wonder about the bigger picture. The effectiveness of security measures the transparency of information.
And then on a slightly different note, but still related to security and well-being, The Guardian is reporting on this incident involving a member of the House of Representatives, Alex Equichek.
Okay.
He was granted bail after being accused of assaulting a Bolt driver.
That's concerning.
It raises questions about accountability, the prevalence of violence, and the need for a justice system that protects everyone.
Absolutely. It's not just about combating terrorism or external threats. Security is about ensuring the safety and dignity of every citizen.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here already, but before we move on, I think it's important to take a step back and look at the global scene through an African lens.
I like that idea.
There are a few stories out there that I think have some interesting implications for the continent.
Okay, well, I'm all ears.
Well, first, there's this heartbreaking story about the collapse of a 10-story hotel in Argentina. The Guardian is reporting on it.
Oh, gosh, how awful.
It is, and it really underscores the importance of building safety standards everywhere, not just in developing nations.
You're absolutely right. It's a global issue.
It is, and it's a reminder that we need to be vigilant about safety protocols, especially in areas that are prone to earthquakes or other natural disasters.
Couldn't agree more. Now, on a lighter note, The Guardian also has this story about a group of scientists in France who are completely baffled by the unexpected hatching of baby turtles.
Oh, that's adorable.
It is right. But what's really fascinating is that it's completely thrown their understanding of turtle reproduction out the window.
Right.
It could have implications for conservation efforts.
Really?
Yeah, especially for endangered turtle species in Africa and elsewhere.
Wow, so these little turtles are making a big impact.
They are, and, it's a nice reminder that even in the face of challenges, there's always room for hope and the possibility of positive change.
I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of hope, the editorial in today's Daily Trust really got me thinking.
Oh, yes, it's a powerful piece, isn't it?
It is. It's all about the state of Nigeria's political parties, and it's calling for a shift towards greater resilience and discipline.
Right. It argues that for democracy to thrive, you need strong, well-functioning political parties that are driven by principles, not just personal gain.
And that's a message that resonates far beyond Nigeria.
Absolutely. It's relevant to any country that values democratic principles.
So what stood out to you the most from the editorial?
I think it was the call for ideological clarity within parties. When parties lack clear principles, it becomes difficult for voters to make informed choices.
It's like trying to navigate a maze with no map.
Exactly. You're just stumbling around in the dark.
Right. And that destination, in this case, is a better future for Nigeria.
And for the world, really.
It all comes back to that. So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into Nigerian news, I'm left with a sense of, cautious optimism. There are serious challenges, no doubt, but there's also this vibrant energy, this drive to overcome obstacles and create a better future.
I see it too. And what's encouraging is that people are engaging in these issues, debating solutions, holding leaders accountable. That's the essence of a healthy democracy.
Absolutely. It's about being informed, participating, and making your voice heard.
And that's what gives me hope, that people are engaged, that they're not just sitting back and letting things happen.
It's about taking ownership, right, of the future we want to see.
Exactly. And you know what? Speaking of taking ownership and shaping the future, we talked earlier about those scientists in France who were so surprised by those baby turtles hatching.
Oh, yeah, those adorable little guys. What about them?
Well, I was thinking about it, and it just struck me as such a powerful metaphor. They had all these assumptions about turtle reproduction, and then bam, these little turtles come along and completely upend everything.
So you're saying we need to be prepared for the unexpected?
Yes. We can't get so stuck in our old ways of thinking that we miss the signs of change or the potential for something completely new to emerge.
That's so true. It's like that saying, the only constant is change.
Right. And we need to be able to adapt and evolve our thinking in every area of life, politics, economics, even our personal lives.
It's about being flexible, being open to new possibilities.
Absolutely. And speaking of new possibilities, there were a couple of other global stories that I thought were worth highlighting.
Oh, yeah, fill me in.
Well, we talked about that tragic hotel collapse in Argentina, right?
Yeah, a stark reminder about the importance of building safety standards.
It is, but then there was this other story about a group of scientists in France who stumbled upon this completely unexpected phenomenon with baby turtles hatching.
Those turtles again. What happened this time?
Well, they were studying this particular species of turtle, and the babies hatched at a time that completely baffled them. It turns out there's this whole aspect of turtle reproduction that they didn't even know existed.
Wow, so these little turtles are rewriting the textbooks.
They are. And, it got me thinking about how much we still don't know about the natural world and the potential for new discoveries.
And how those discoveries can have a real impact on conservation efforts.
Exactly.
Oh.
Especially for endangered species like some of the turtles we have in Africa.
It's like those baby turtles are a symbol of hope and the power of the unexpected.
I love that. It's a reminder that even when things seem bleak, there's always potential for positive change.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Definitely not. There's a lot to be concerned about, but there's also a lot to be hopeful for.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Mhm.
Acknowledging the challenges, but also focusing on the opportunities.
Exactly. And that brings us back to Nigeria. We've covered a lot of ground today, a lot of heavy topics.
We have, but it's important to stay informed, right?
Yeah.
To understand the complexities of what's happening.
Absolutely. Awareness is the first step towards action.
And action can take many forms.
It can. It can be about having those tough conversations, holding our leaders accountable, pushing for solutions.
It's about being an active participant in shaping the future we want to see.
Exactly. And you know what? The deep dive is all about giving you the information and the insights you need to be an active and engaged citizen.
It's about empowering you to make a difference.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to take what they've learned today and do something with it.
Don't just let it sit there. Let it spark a conversation, inspire an action, motivate you to get involved. Because even small actions can have a big impact.
Hey, they really can. It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
I love that. We saw examples of that throughout our deep dive today, right? People speaking up, demanding better, pushing for change.
Absolutely. Like Senator Doom raising those concerns about the tax hikes or those accusations against the APC in the understate election.
Even that editorial in the Daily Trust, calling for stronger, more principled political parties. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future.
We do. And it's not just about those big headline-grabbing moments either. It's about the everyday choices we make, the conversations we have, the actions we take.
It's about being an active citizen.
Exactly. And, for me, that's one of the biggest takeaways from today. It's not enough to just sit back and consume the news we have, to be willing to engage, to participate in the process.
To make our voices heard.
Yes. And that engagement can take so many forms. It can be as simple as sharing an article on social media or as involved as running for office.
It's about finding what works for you and making a commitment to be an active participant in the world around you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And at the end of the day, that's what the deep dive is all about.
It is. It's about empowering you, giving you the knowledge and the tools you need to understand the complexities of the world and to make informed decisions.
It's about fostering critical thinking, encouraging dialogue, and inspiring action.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Nigerian news, I just want to say thank you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
It really has. We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
And we hope it sparks some ideas, some conversations, some actions that will contribute to a brighter future for Nigeria and for the world.
Because ultimately, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for more in-depth analysis and insightful conversations like this, be sure to like and subscribe to our Foresight Podcast news channel for daily updates.
We're here to help you navigate the complexities of the world and to empower you to be an active and engaged citizen.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going.